Dearie me, it's gonna happen. Took the bump tonight and I am post-workout. So first thing first, the name, L-U-I. Secondly, the game, it is the very game of bodybuilding. Thirdly though, this gentleman, Kai Daily Green, posted this picture yesterday and it is an absolute sight to be seen. What you're looking at is a bodybuilder in his prime time. This is the heyday of this gentleman, right? A lot of people think that Kai Green, we've seen the best of him. You are dead wrong. This is a mature muscularity. This peak is definitely the best in the circuit right now, bar none, and by freaking far. As a matter of fact, it is one of the best in the history. This is to be compared with Robbie Robinson and the likes of Darren Charles, and that's pretty much it when it comes to the freaking sweep of the triceps C's, very please, and that huge testicle peak. Nobody else comes even close, right? I mean, these guys are rare, way beyond what we saw from Albert Beckley's, baby please, and the like of Boyer Co, right? I mean, this is another level. I mean, those peaks are genetically gifted and he developed them to the max. But the subject tonight though is about his friend. This Ramy shot is few weeks old. It was, as a matter of fact, 24 hours before the show that he won this year, namely the Arnold Classic Brazil. This is a frightening sight we're looking at. At this stage here, he was about 315 pounds, right? This is a guy who is maturing. Don't get it twisted. He does not have the muscle maturity of this guy. Look, this looks impressive and meaty, and you know, the sweeps and the bellies are definitely more rounded. But this guy is still heavier, so he is still growing. This is the conundrum that a lot of people get it wrong about Big Ramy. Big Ramy is still growing, right? I'm gonna post a video right here. You got to click on it, and it will be linked in the description below. Where you see him training today, he was doing some chest. Now, bear in mind, this guy is doing Ramadan, so he's eating pretty much like 4 to 6 hours a day, if not even less, and the rest of the day he's not drinking nor eating. And the weights he was moving were humongous, yes, yet he made them look rather mediocre, rather light. He was not struggling whatsoever. And you know what? It is the way to go, because this guy is still growing. This type of physique has to be granny T for him to succeed. So what we're seeing now, those updated picture, is not the final result. He did not reach the cruising speed. As I told you before, this dude still has at least 15 to 20 pounds of raw muscle to gain to reach that fullness and that granity look. He's acquiring it slowly, on a daily, but he's not there as of yet. This was a mistake. Unfortunately, it happened to him last year. As you guys remember, he had an injury in his hamstring and he competed in Mr. Rowe. And this is a big deal. When you have this, you cannot do cardio, you cannot prep properly. It happened to him a few weeks prior to Mr. Rowe. And even at that, he came in, you know, in a relatively better shape than the previous year. So he needs to be careful. This is a gentleman that is not out of the oven as of yet. Continue should we. When I talk about granny T on a daily and that grainy look, nothing represented as this guy right here. May he rest in peace, Nasser El Somebody. He was the very representation until today of that granny T meaty look. Prior to him, I don't recall nobody that came with this kind of raw, hard muscle. It was challenging. He was the best of his era from the front. He was unbeatable. He was destroying Dorian Yates all day from the front. He was killing everybody, this dude right here, right? So this what Big Ramy has to reach. He has the same kind of muscle. As a matter of fact, he is his national countryman. Both are Egyptians, right? So this is what I'm talking about. This kind of, you know, hard granite look. You see it nowadays in the like of Branch Warren. Branch Warren pretty much is one of the only representative of this kind of muscle, quite extreme. To reach this, there is only one rule. It's not only about the vitamins, guys. It's about the way you train. Heavy ass weight. You need to move crazy weight, right? This dude was doing it and he achieved it. There's actually a big difference between here in 95 and later years like 97 and 98. So he has grown and he became harder. As a matter of fact, him in 95 he looked a little bit softer, but he was just starting to acquire that Granny T look, right? But it has a toll. It has, a price to pay. I mean, this dude, took a toll, on his physique. Not only for the muscle, but for a lot of health issue that he suffered. Consequently, as you guys know, he just passed away, right? So that is need to be considered right there. I mean, look at that. May he rest in peace. Proceed, shall we? Thing is, like this in '94, you can see him here in the Night of Champion, where he placed second next to this guy, Mike Francois, who is also a representation of what we call Granny T. But he was aesthetic, Nasser El Sambay. Look at him. He was small, he was definitely aesthetic, but he had no choice to step it up, basically to box with this guy. Now, Dorian here was still small. This was probably in 91 or 92. As a matter of fact, I think it was in 92 in Helsinki daily when he won his first Mr. Olympia. But, the year before, you can see him next to Lee Haney. He was still aesthetic, this guy. And debatably, he should have won. The commentator back then said that Dorian Yates was like Lee Haney with better legs. Because from the back, he was toe-to-toe. But then he looked around and he said, damn you, balls to the walls, bro. And he started to gain. He was the first one to reach, basically, to start that era of the mass monster, the fauna that came in from nowhere. He was the initiator because he was the reigning Mr. O. And when he started to grow, everybody followed him. Those pictures surfaced few weeks prior to Mr. Olympia 1993. Everybody was depressed, bro. Never have we seen this. With the glutes striated and so on, he gained in freaking 1 year, right? Look at it. And that was one way to do it, is to lift crazy weight. Go ahead and watch his video, Blood and Guts. He was moving some crazy ass weight, bro. That's the way to reach that Granny T look. No other methodology, not even slightly, not even daily. Nasser, as I said, followed him in 95, bro. Well, and after that, pretty much, it escalated rather quickly, pretty much on a daily. Even Kevin Levroni joined in that mass gaining era. Don't get it twisted though. Kevin Levroni, bro, he was aesthetic like crazy. This was Helsinki 92. Look at him. He was cute. Hello, Kevin. You know what I'm saying? It was absolutely, smaller, but, striations, feathers all day and daily. But then people told him, bro, do you even lift? His answer was, damn you, balls to the walls, bro. Balls to the walls. He tried to gain, and his gains were absolutely mesmerizing. Pretty much, he was the first epitome of freaking 3D, right? This dude, the Maryland Machine, bro, he was called also Mr. Intensity back in the 90s because he was moving some crazy weights. The only way to gain that Granny T grainy look. And that's what's up. Right? Sean Ray had no chance back then. He started to place fourth, sometime 5, and so he could not box with them, except in 96 when he took the place of Nasser El Sambadi, who was disqualified, right? Aside from that, man, he was basically getting smoked by this mass monster. Kevin was toe-to-toe with Dorian back then. But then again, there is a price to pay. Kevin had several injuries, very pleased. This is a tricep injury, you can see it in this shot, and from this shot as well. However, he also torn his chest, right? So he had few injuries, baby please. Dorian Yates, bro, he torn his biceps in 94. As a matter of fact, this happened not in a biceps exercise, but rather doing some back rows, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do the math. Let me tell you by memory on a daily what kind of muscle this gentleman has torn in his career. Let's start from the top. He had an injury, as far as I remember, in his traps. He also had a tricep injury. He has a bicep injury. He has also a forearm injury, and finally a quadriceps, baby please, injury. That's what's up. Dorian, if you listen to me, please confirm. Proceed, should we? This dude was crazy aesthetic. Ronnie Coleman. Next to this guy, if I do recall, his name is Ron Love. And personally, I do love the version of Ronnie. When he was small, he was so aesthetic, but somebody insulted him, telling him, bro, do you even lift? Next thing you know, he said, balls to the walls, bro. and he started to gain. He became the mass monster that we know, Big Ron, pretty much the most famous Mr. Olympia of them all. I mean, look at the gains that happened, bro. If you compare him with before, look, this is front double biceps. It became all of a sudden front double testes, baby. Look at the major difference. We're talking about a sheer size of about 40 to 50 pounds of raw, pure muscle, for God's sake. Fat-free. You know what I'm saying? Fat-free, extra lean. Look at that. Major difference. Look at here. I mean, this was a 98 when he won his first Mr. Olympia. Everybody was big. Kevin was big. Flex was big. And Nasser Al-Somebody was big. And that's what made him win, bro. Look at this picture when he did not even lift. This was probably, wild guess, 94 if I'm not mistaken. Compare it, for God's sake, with this huge development. I'll make it back so you guys will comprehend and understand. Take a look at the shoulders, just the shoulders. Dismiss the rest of the body, right? Dismiss the traps because they will be impressive. But look at the shoulders. They look merely humane in a sense. And then, boom. Do you see the freaking difference? Everything grown exponentially, almost on a yearly basis. To do that, you guys know what's up. And nothing but peanut. He had to lift crazy weights. I mean, he is the strongest Mr. Olympia of them all. Probably let alone one of the strongest bodybuilders ever. We're talking about IFBB competitors. You know what I'm saying? He was moving some crazy weights. But then again, there's a consequence for all, right? I mean, his body took a toll severely, almost on a daily, bro. I mean, look at that. Front double testes in the hospital, bro. This is a hip surgery. And if I do recall by memory, correct me, Mr. Rony, on a daily, the injury that he sustained, not only a hip replacement he has to do, he also had problem with his discs in his vertebrae, baby, please. Also, the back was somehow damaged. I'm not sure if it is a muscle damage or a nerve damage, but surely enough, it melted, as you guys recall, in his last Mr. Olympia. And also a tricep injury, as far as I remember. So it has a price, bro. Being grainy on a daily and lifting crazy inhumane weight has a price that comes with it. Proceed, should we? This dude, though, is not part of this bunch. This is Aesthetic Sean Ray, or as I call him, the Ray. This guy is one of the last Mohicans, one of the best aesthetic, one of the best posers ever. This dude, as I said, he does not belong to the grainy, granity type of guys. However, right, and there's reason for that. As far as I know, Sean Ray never had a serious injury, not even slightly, not even daily, bro. There's a reason, because he was not crazy lifter. You go to the gym, this guy, he was doing curls with like 20 pounds. He was doing skull crushers with like 40, 45 pounds, and that's about it. And it never took a toll on his body. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's up. So should Big Ramy become like this guy? No, he cannot. It's not the same type of physique. He rather needs to have a different model, in my opinion. This dude right here, 4-time Mr. Olympia, Jay, a cut above Cutler. Now this guy is a special case in a sense. He is not known to lift some crazy weights. Be my guest if you find just one picture or one video of him doing some crazy ass squats or any crazy ass lifting exercise for that matter. Be my guest. No, even though he was weighing 280, he was not, you know, those intense, crazy, hard, lifter. He was doing it with an intelligent way, right? Look at him. He was granity. Granted, we're not talking granity type, Nasser Al-Somebody type, but he was almost up there, like 98%. He was doing it efficiently, what goes for his physique, and it paid off. One of the best complete Mr. Olympia physiques ever. So this is what Big Ramy should look up to, my friends. That's what's up. I hear you tell me that, Jay Cutler injured his left biceps. Granted, but that's a touchy subject. I do not want to touch upon it right now because he is still around. He's still in the business. And it was not a major injury. Right? So, don't get it twisted. So this is what Big Ramy should look up to. This guy still has to grow. He will be Most likely, if he did not mess up, the next Mr. Olympia, and he can literally dominate the IFBB for a decade. Salute you wherever you are. Don't forget to like the video and tell me what you think about it, bro.